The day I left the house I had lived in for 41 years, I didn't know I was also leaving behind my freedom, my joy, and the rest of my life. I can never forget that day. My son hugged me tightly and said, "There, someone will take better care of you. You won't have to worry anymore." I smiled, but deep down it felt like I had just signed a contract to become a shadow. They brought me into the nursing home where everything is arranged: meals, sleep, even scheduled hours for talking and lights out. I thought I was going there to rest, but after a few months, I realized here, people don't live, they wait. I don't blame my son. I don't blame this place. I only wish someone had told me sooner about the raw truths behind these clean walls, orderly meals, and mechanical smiles. I used to be strong. I built my own small house with my own hands. I once drove across states alone. I taught my grandson how to kick a ball. But now I have to ask for permission to sit in the sun for 10 minutes. So today I want to share 6 things I regret most about moving into a nursing home. Not to blame anyone, but so that you won't lose yourself like I did. If you're facing this decision for yourself or for someone you love, please listen to me just this once. The first thing I regret is not realizing when I lost my right to make my own decisions. When I first arrived, I thought it was convenient. Meals were served on time. My medications were prepared in advance. Someone woke me up in the morning and reminded me to go to bed at night. I didn't have to worry about a thing. But you know what? The moment you stop making decisions is also the moment you stop being yourself. I used to enjoy breakfast at 9 a.m., crispy bread and hot coffee. Here, breakfast is at 7 and it's boiled eggs with milk. I used to listen to music every afternoon in the backyard under the cool shade of the old oak tree. Here, the speaker plays soft music at 2 p.m., the same songs every day. Each day passes just like the one before. I didn't protest, I just slowly fell silent. And then I realized I hadn't said "I want" in over 4 months. I was once someone who took the lead in everything. Now I am just someone whose life is arranged for them. No one here is malicious. They are kind. They are thoughtful. But here, kindness comes with the quiet erasure of your role as the owner of your own life. I remember the first time I asked to go out and buy a book. They required a family member to sign a form. I smiled bitterly. I once drove across states alone for 4 days. Now I need permission just to buy a book. And that's when I knew I was no longer myself. If you're still at home, still able to go to the market, cook your own meals, choose your own bedtime, please don't trade all away just for what they call convenience. Because once you lose your autonomy, you begin to lose the soul of your old age too. And at some point, all that's left is a name on a list in room 204. I regret that I gave up my privacy without even realizing it. Back at home, I had a small corner, a worn wooden desk by the window. Every morning I'd make coffee, read a few pages from a book, or simply watch the birds fly by. I didn't need anyone to check in. I didn't need anyone to notice me. All I needed was that little sliver of sky. And though small, it was what made me feel truly alive. But here, do you know what it's like? I have to knock on the door of my own room. Because I have a roommate, someone I've never met before. We share everything: bed, closet, space, and even the awkward silence every night. There were times I was writing in my journal when a nurse walked in to check on my meds without knocking. There were times I was changing clothes when my roommate brought friends over, laughing loudly. I wasn't angry. They didn't mean harm. But gradually I realized I no longer had a space of my own, no place where I could exhale freely. No corner where I could be quietly vulnerable. No space to be alone without being lonely. I used to be a man who cherished stillness, and here, Tuem, that stillness has become a luxury. You may think, well, they're old, sharing space is fine, but I'll be honest, at any age we all need a space to call our own. Even if it's just a window, a tea table, a wall with family photos. Because when you lose your privacy, you also lose the small world where you're still allowed to be yourself. If you're still living in your own home, able to lock the door, turn on a warm light, put on your favorite music and sit in peace, please know you have something incredibly precious that not everyone is lucky enough to keep. Don't give it up because you'll miss it far more than you ever imagined. I regret not realizing that moving in here also meant slowly fading out of the hearts of those I love. When I first moved in, my children and grandchildren visited every week. Every Sunday, one would bring pastries, another would share stories about school or work. My little room was filled with laughter. I remember clearly one afternoon, my daughter sat beside me, held my hand and said, "Dad, I feel so at ease, knowing there's someone here to take care of you every day." I nodded, but inside something felt missing. Not because she was wrong, but because I began to feel like I no longer belonged. Then the weekly visits turned into bi-weekly. Bi-weekly turned into once a month. And now, sometimes I go through an entire summer only hearing their voices through the phone. No one meant to abandon me. But when you're no longer part of your family's daily routine, you gradually disappear from their lives. Here, everything is scheduled. Meal times, bedtime, visiting hours. My children have to book visits in advance, show up on time. One day my son arrived a bit late and the staff said, "Sorry, he's having dinner. We don't want to disturb him." I had to laugh. I used to skip meals just to play with my grandkids. Now, even a hug has to wait for office hours. The truth is, when you move into a nursing home, your family ties don't vanish, but the roles change. You're no longer a priority. You become a scheduled obligation. I don't blame anyone. I just regret believing things would stay close like before. But I step back. And when you step out of someone's life long enough, by the time you want to return, they've already adjusted to you not being there. If you still live with family, if you can still hear the sound of your grandchild's footsteps in the hall, if you can still watch your child nervously cook dinner, please don't take that for granted. Because once you step out, you may never find the way back in. I regret not realizing that here no one needed me anymore. At home, even as an old man, I was still someone in the family. I held the keys. I was the one who taught my grandson how to toast bread, the one who reminded my son to take out the trash every Tuesday. I was the one people still asked, "Dad, how should we fix the kitchen?" "Grandpa, I wrote this essay. Can you take a look?" "Grandpa, how did you and Grandma fall in love back then?" It made me feel like I was still a living part of someone's life, not a burden, but a foundation. But ever since I came here, no one needs me for anything. I don't cook. I don't fix things. I make no decisions. No one even asks for my opinion anymore. For the first time, I felt like a tree that had been uprooted, replanted in a pot, watered, fertilized, and cared for, but no longer grounded in the life I once knew. One day I asked a young staff member, "Do you need help moving these chairs?" She smiled politely. "Oh no, please rest. We've got it covered." She meant well, but right then I felt invisible. When no one needs you anymore, you begin to question why you even exist. I started losing my sense of purpose. I woke up not knowing why. I ate like a machine. I laughed when others laughed. I sat silently when they were busy. And I realized To live without being needed is scarier than death. If you're still at home, still able to help your grandchild with homework, still able to show your son how to hang a curtain, still able to cook your favorite dish, do it. Claim your place, even if it's small in someone's heart. Because when you feel like you still matter, you are truly alive. But when you're just waiting for someone to care for you, you begin to disappear, even while your heart is still beating. I regret trading the loneliness of my own home for a crowded place where my heart still feels empty. At first, I thought it would be nice here. There'd be people to talk to, others my age, weekly group activities. But then I discovered something. You can be surrounded by people and still feel completely alone. Everyone here is polite, but no one truly listens. We tell stories, but no one remembers yesterday's tale. We sit close, but each of us drifts alone like quiet islands placed side by side. I remember my 83rd birthday. They brought me a small cake with a candle. Staff sang happy birthday. My roommate clapped along, but no one knew. That was the song my mother used to sing to me when I was 5. No one knew. I hated vanilla cake ever since I got food poisoning as a child. I smiled. I said thank you. But inside, I felt hollow because no one here really knows who I am. At home, I could talk about the first time I met my wife or the day my daughter took her first steps, and someone would sit and listen. Even if all they said was, "Oh, wow, really, Grandpa?" Here, your stories get cut off by the medicine bell, by mealtime, or by someone else jumping in with a new topic. Over time, I went quiet, not because I had nothing to say, but because I felt no one really wanted to hear it anymore. You know something? Old people don't need much. We just need someone to sit down, look us in the eye and say, "Tell me your story." If you're still with an elderly loved one, please listen. Don't wait until they've gone silent before asking, "Why didn't you ever tell me?" Because by then, the most beautiful story of their life might already be buried beneath years of silence, never told again. I regret not realizing that this place was slowly making me forget who I am. I used to be a man with a story. I was once a strict father who secretly cried at the sound of his daughter's laughter. I was the man who loved jazz, hated tomatoes, and always folded his socks before bed, a quirky habit I'd had for decades. But here, who am I? I'm Mr. George, room 204, the one who takes 3 pills in the morning, 2 at night, the one with high blood pressure, so no salt allowed, the one who needs assistance going to the bathroom. I am no longer me. Each day is a copy of the last, no name, no color. I smile when asked to. I sit up straight when they check on me. I sleep when the lights go out. Every night I whisper my name in my head. George, who are you? What did you ever do that made life feel meaningful? And I cry, not because I'm weak, but because I'm fading away, and no one seems to notice. Here, they take care of you, but they don't know who you used to be. They see you, Jay, but they don't really see you. If you're still living in the place you call home, where familiar items surround you, where the old photo frames still hang, and where your favorite chair waits for you to read the paper, please don't leave that place too quickly. Because once you leave, you may not only lose a house, you might be leaving behind the last traces of your true self. Dear friend, I'm not sharing all this to complain. I share it because I hope someone out there won't have to live through what I did. I've lost too much. My freedom, my memories, my privacy, the small joys, and worst of all, I lost myself without even realizing it. People always say putting them in a nursing home is the best option. But have you ever stopped to ask, best for whom? Maybe it's easier for the children. Maybe it brings peace of mind to the caregiver. But what about the heart of the one being placed there? Did anyone ask if it hurts? Did anyone ask me, do you still feel like you're truly living or merely existing? Are you still a father, a grandfather, a husband, or just another patient in room 204? No one asked, and I stopped answering. Because here, silence has become our shared language. We don't complain, we don't resist, we simply fade, like a lamp quietly going out when no one's around to change the bulb. And the part that hurts the most isn't that death is near. It's that I've been dying slowly for a long time, and no one noticed. If you still have a choice, please live it fully. Stay where you can still be yourself, where you're still needed, still loved. Stay, because no one deserves to spend their final years like a shadow pressed against a cold wall. And if you're thinking of sending someone into a place like the one I'm in, please search your heart again. Because a decision made lightly today could become the deepest wound in the memory of the person you love. Thank you for listening to an old man, because maybe, just maybe, in this moment, you're the first person who has truly listened in many, many years.